I want to thank you guys for joining me today on our inaugural session of Kaltura training. We've gotten an overwhelming response to the two training sessions that we're running on Kaltura, which is great because we always love to see that people are eager to use or to learn new technologies to use in their courses. Of course, I'm probably preaching to the choir because you're here, but using multimedia in our courses is a great way to enhance learner interaction, to try to get more learner engagement, and to appeal to the different ways that we process our information, right? Most of our learners have grown up at an age where they're consistently bombarded with visual and audio information. So including video or at least enhanced video audio into our courses really targets the way that our learners are used to getting their information. And Kaltura is a great way to do that for free, which is always a great perk. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and begin. Just to start off, there are just a couple of things that we have to go over, and I just put them here in a PowerPoint. Kaltura is the brand of a product. This product is a video creation and streaming service. They have themselves two products that they offer. MediaSpace is one of them, and so MediaSpace is an area where you can upload, manage, and share media. You can access this by navigating to this website that we've highlighted here, which is ru-stream.rutgers.edu. There may be more than one instance of Kaltura running on campus, but this is the one that you want to use to be able to get into the media space. Capture Space is the second product that Kaltura brings us. Capture Space is the area where you can create and upload the media that you've created. It can be accessed by navigating to that same website, which is ru-stream.rutgers.edu, but it's also available through Sakai, which is the learning management system, or one of the learning management systems that we use here on campus. Now, that being said, let's just make sure that we understand Capture Space is the creation or the creative part or creative product that Kaltura offers us, while MediaSpace is where we can manage and share media that we've either created or that we have rights to and want to share. That being said, we also have integrated these two products into Sakai. So we've taken Kaltura's products and we've integrated them into Sakai in what we hope is a seamless fashion. And so there are two more terms that we have to familiarize ourselves with if we work with Sakai. One of them is Kaltura My Media, and the other one is Kaltura Media Gallery. Now you can consider these two to be analogous to MediaSpace, but in Sakai. Okay, we don't have a term MediaSpace in Sakai. We use these other two terms, My Media and Media Gallery. Okay, so we're going to start off with just understanding those three things. And I'm going to jump in to today's training by starting off with MediaSpace. So we can see the general kind of web portal that allows anyone, really, whether you're using Moodle, Sakai, Canvas, Blackboard, anyone can use ru-stream.rutgers.edu. All you need to get in there is your net ID. So if you work for Rutgers and you have a net ID, then you're good to go. I've gone ahead and pulled up my browser. I like to use Google. So we're going to go ahead and navigate to ru-stream.rutgers.edu. You can see that up top. So I'm going to go ahead and enter. And so when I first go to this page, it sort of looks like the page is not complete. You don't see any content at the bottom, it's white. This is a work in progress. I will make that disclaimer. The people who are working on trying to get this up and running have concentrated more on the functionality, so they want to make sure that everything is working as properly as possible. And then they're going to go ahead and concentrate on making it pretty. So right now, maybe it's not the prettiest website, out there on the market, but it just gives us what we need just to get in. And what do we need? Well, we need a net ID. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a button titled Guest. We're going to click on that, and it's going to ask me to log in. Click on Login. It will take you through the central authentication service here at the institution. So you plunk in your net ID, your password, and you click on Login. Now it looks a lot prettier because I'm actually in the Rutgers University instance of Kaltura. So just to repeat what I had said before, as long as you work at Rutgers, as long as you have a net ID, you can log into this website. No problem. You'll notice that there are a couple of different tabs here at the top. You'll notice that there's a couple of buttons up here besides my login name, and you'll see some at least examples of videos that are available down here below. In this space, we're really going to only concentrate on three things. We're going to concentrate on this Add New button, concentrate on this My Media tab, and My Playlists tab. Okay, so what we're going to start off by creating media. And the creating media portion, remember, is brought to us by CaptureSpace. CaptureSpace is the product that Kaltura gives us for creating new content. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add New, and there are a couple of different options here. We really want to concentrate on two: the media upload and record a presentation. You do have the option of using the webcam recording. We'll talk about video quizzes at the end if we have time, and the screen recording. Webcam recording and screen recording can work a little iffy depending on what browser you're using, because they are Flash based from what I understand. So if your browser allows Flash, you're fine. If it doesn't, then you're going to have some issues. But record a presentation works just fine no matter what you're using. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and record a presentation. And you're going to have to install a plugin. The plugin is called Kaltura CaptureSpace Desktop Recorder. Now, depending on what kind of platform you're working on, whether it's a Mac or a Windows platform, this might look a little bit different. I'm going to click on OK. Now, since I've installed it prior, it's a very simple process here. This little pop-up opens up on your desktop, and this is the desktop recorder from CaptureSpace. There are several things that you can do here to create content. So the first thing you can do is you can record presentations and lectures. You can record just your screen. You can record your screen and the webcam, a webcam, or just your voice. Now let me make a little side note here. This plugin, you can download it even if you don't have administrative rights on your computer. I know a lot of us work for offices or departments where you have one central administrator, and they're the people in charge of allowing you to install things. In this case, though, this plugin should be able to download and install without any prior or approval from anybody else. You can do it by yourself, so that's a good thing. One of the reasons why Kaltura is so great is that it's very flexible in what it will allow you to record. Sorry, I'm just letting some more people into the session. So a lot of us fancy the idea of recording our PowerPoint lectures, which we've had forever with us. They've always worked. They have good content in them. Maybe we want to add a little more pizzazz by adding, our voiceovers or our image by webcam or whatever it might be. This allows you to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Presentations and Lectures. And this is what it looks like. You do have the option to select the quality of the camera that you're using to record. So in this case, it's at 480 pixels. You can go ahead and bump that up to 720. Same thing goes for the screen capture. Now, this is one of the things you want to think about. If you're going to be using Kaltura as your streaming service, then you don't really have to worry about the size of the file that you're going to be producing. You can bump it up to 720 pixels and 1080, and it's going to be fine. If you're going to be creating this media and uploading it elsewhere, where your file size is something that you have to worry about, then you may want to leave it down here at 480 and 720. But that really is up to you and what you're using. The presentation file path is here. If you wanted to load a different presentation, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and browse my machine. Let's see. So maybe I want to upload that PowerPoint that I was using in the previous. Here it is. And I can choose to turn the sound on and off. So I can just go ahead and record just the slides being moved around, or I can go ahead and leave the sound on and go ahead and narrate them. If I go ahead and click record down here at the bottom, it's going to bring up my presentation. It's going to count me down. And then now it's recording. My little window with my webcam will show up in the bottom corner. Really nice thing about Kaltura is that it lets you position this camera to where you want it to go, so you're not blocking any of the important content on your slide. Once you're done, you would click on Done, or if you want to start over, click on Cancel. I'm going to click on Done. My little window with my webcam will show up in the bottom corner. This is the preview section. So now it is giving you a preview of what we just recorded. It allows you some capacity in editing. You're allowed to trim the beginning and the end, and you're also allowed to chop pieces in between the slides. So it's not a super fancy editing editor for the video, but it does give you some options. Let's say we've done all the editing that we want. Go ahead and click Done. You must title it. You can choose to add a description and add tags if you want. And then you have the option to save, preview, and upload. I'm going to go ahead and just click save, and I'll show you why in a minute. All right, where did it go? We clicked on save. I don't know where it went. If you go up here, there's a library. Here's the video that we just saved. The library in Capture Space is a local library. It means that it saves the recording on your machine. So in this case, the recording lives locally on your machine until you upload it. And right here it is telling you that it is not uploaded, that you need to upload it now. I can go ahead and do that by clicking on it and clicking upload. Right now it's going to go ahead and process the media. And eventually we'll get a sign or a signal, a message that says it has been uploaded. So it was uploaded, it's going to be available here, which is the media space that we were in before. All right, let's go back to the record area. So that was one of the options, presentations and lectures. As you can see, it's very versatile. You can do a lot of things with it. You can choose to just record your screen. So it allows you the option of screen only or screen and microphone, which is what these icons are telling you. You can do screen and webcam with or without microphone. You can do just webcam, so it's just recording your webcam with your microphone, or just voice. So these are all the options that Capture Space allows you to record, or these are the types of media that you record. So you can do this will produce a movie file, an MP4, as will any of these here. The voice file will be a little bit different because it's not going to be a movie file. But you can create any of those pieces of media and then save them to your library. You can leave them here. You can go ahead and delete any of these. If you've already uploaded it to the to MediaSpace, then if by deleting it here, you are not deleting it on MediaSpace. So because this is just a local save, if you've uploaded it to MediaSpace, it will still live there. But if I've recorded a whole bunch of stuff that I took many takes to get right, I may want to delete the ones that I didn't get right and just leave the ones that I'm happy with. So that's an option that you have. At any point, you can go in and edit any of the recordings that you've made. My little window with my webcam will show. They'll just bring that up. Under the Settings tab, we have a couple of things to look at. Since this is saved locally on your machine, it will show you where it's saving it. So if you don't know where your files are going, you can always look here for what the file path is for your local storage location. If you have multiple webcams or multiple microphones, you can choose which one you want to use during your recordings from here. And again, you can change the quality of your camera and your screen from here as well. You also have the option of choosing to delete a recording after you upload it to MediaSpace. That may be something you want to do, maybe something you don't want to do, but it's there for you. And the last tab up here is for help. So if you need help knowing what version you're running, or if you need to sign out, this is where you would do it. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here and go back to MediaSpace. So we went over how to create media, which is through CaptureSpace. So hopefully, even if you just wanted to create media without having to go through the trouble of using something expensive and fancy like Camtasia, and you didn't want to use something as simple as iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, then now you have another option to go ahead and create some fabulous video content. Once you use CaptureSpace and you come back to MediaSpace and you want to see all your media, you would navigate over to My Media, this tab right here. It's going to show the most recently uploaded or created video first. So the one that I just created in CaptureSpace is right here on top. And there are a couple of things that I can do with this. Now, when you go to My Media, there are certain options that we can sort videos by. So most recent, different statuses like I only want to see videos that are private or published or pending, rejected, so on. I can choose to view all media or separate it out by video, quizzes, audio. And then I have this option here. Now this option will get interesting later on. Right now I'm only seeing media that I own, but I can also see media that I can publish. And what does that mean? If somebody else created media and they made me a co-publisher, I can go ahead and also share that media with whomever I like. If somebody else created media and they made me a co-editor, then I can go ahead, see that piece of media, and also edit that piece of media. If they make me both co-publisher and co-editor, then I can do all those things. So right now it's only seeing media that I own. Each piece of media has the option to edit it or delete it. Delete it, I'm pretty sure, is self-explanatory. But let's go ahead and see what the editing options are. So here it's going to show me my preview. That's what I was recording prior. Down here below the video are all the different options that you have with these tabs here. So the first tab is Details. In the details, I have the name that is the only required piece of information. I called it Kaltura Training 1. Maybe I want to change that to Kaltura Training Test Video. I can go ahead and enter a description. This description will be visible to students, for example. If you have a playlist, they might see the description on there. It helps you, for example, if you have many recordings that are similar in nature, you can go ahead and help yourself out by adding a detailed description. What might help you out more in sorting your video, though, or your media, is to add tags. So if I go ahead and add a Kaltura tag, and then maybe a training tag, and Sakai, then once I start getting a lot of videos in my library, I can go ahead and search through my library using these tags, and that makes it pretty useful. I'm going to go ahead and save those changes. The next option is the collaboration option. And this is what I was talking about before. You can go ahead and add a collaborator. You have to enter the net ID in this case. So for example, if I wanted to add my coworker as, that's him, as a co-editor and or a co-publisher, I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add them. And I can see who I've shared or who I've allowed to do each thing. So in this case, I've given them both permissions, co-editor and co-publisher. In the Options tab, I have the ability to enable everyone to create clips from this video. If you share this with somebody else, then you're allowing them to make clips of your video and share with anybody they want to. You can also allow for comments. You can disable comments for this media when you share it, or if you previously used it for comments and you want to close that discussion and not allow any more comments, you can do that as well. If you happen to have a way to create caption files, which is something that we highly recommend you do with any video content that you put in your courses, you can go ahead and upload those caption files here. They have to be either an SRT or DFXP format. Perhaps you don't have the resources to caption your files, but you want to add a transcript that you've created. You can do so by adding as an attachment. You can also add any other kind of document as an attachment that you wish. We get this question a lot. How do I download the media? Well, you've created your media, right, through CaptureSpace. You've uploaded the media in Kaltura. But if for some reason you need to download what you created, you can certainly do that by going to, in this case, MediaSpace, and downloading it as the original file, medium-sized file, or a small file. And that will save directly to your machine, and you can transfer that video to wherever you need it to go. Okay, thumbnails. You can go ahead and create a thumbnail for your video. If you're not happy with the one that was automatically chosen for you, you can create your own, you can upload your own, or you can capture your own. As far as the timeline goes, you can go ahead and enter chapters for the video, which could be useful, especially depending on how long your video is. You may want to introduce slides or at least chapter titles with what the main topic of the next couple of minutes are going to be. You also are able in the timeline to upload images. So I can create a new slide. I can upload that slide, for example, which could be an image, and I can enter the slide information, description, and then save that. Let's say that I created this video this semester for a course, and then some of the information that I included in this video became outdated by next semester. Certainly I wouldn't want to be giving outdated information to my courses, so I can go ahead and replace that video from here. I can create another video, I can go ahead and choose a file to upload, and then Kaltura will automatically replace the old video with the new video. So I don't have to go searching around to see where I put that old video, who did I share it with, or rather say which courses I shared it with. I'm able to do that straight from here. You can also trim the video from here, so you can edit again. Trim means you can set your starting point and your end point, but you're also able to create clips, which is very useful again if you have very long videos. My little window with my webcam will show. So if I have a very long video and I just want to clip out a certain part of it to show in a different course, I can do that as well. And the only other option that I didn't get to was delete. So you can go ahead and delete this piece of media from here as well if you want. And that is your editing capacity within MediaSpace. Depending on the type of media that you have, you're going to have different options available. So that's a video. Here is an image. So I'll show you what that looks like. Much more limited options. Again, you have the ability to change your details. You can add co-editors and co-publishers. You can disable comments for the image. You can add attachments as well. We're going to go ahead and see how to share media now. Obviously, you've gone to the trouble of creating this media. You've edited some of the details. You want to make it perfect. You want to, add attachments. You want to upload your caption files. Now you're ready to share. In order to share from the media space, you're going to have to use embed codes. We're assuming here that you're not using it in Sakai, right? So that you're going to be sharing it either through a different LMS or in a site altogether. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the media you want to share. So I'm going to go ahead and keep using this test video. My little window with my... Below the media, when the media shows up, below the media, over to the right, you see that we have a share option. If I click on the share option, it automatically gives me a link that I can post somewhere to share this site. But what we want to do is use the embed code. In this case, you will use the embed code to embed it into a website or to an LMS. There are different types of skins that you can download along with this piece of video. And also the sizes of the players can be different. I would always suggest you choose the highest player size just to make it a little bit more accessible, although you will be able to go full screen with any of the videos that you embed. You would go ahead and grab this embed code and you would paste it into whatever final destination you want it to go to. So that's how you would share a piece of media from the media space. Again, we'll go over all these other options in Sakai. So we've gone through three main things. We've gone through Capture Space, which is the product that allows us to record media, create media. We've gone through the media space in general and the editing properties that you have with each piece of media that you've uploaded or created. And we've gone through creating playlists as well as sharing your media, publishing it to other sites or websites or whatever it might be. Okay, so we'll move right along. I'm going to jump out of media space. I'm going to jump into Sakai. Now when you log into Sakai, you are automatically taken to the My Workspace tab. Everybody has a My Workspace tab, or I should say everybody should have a My Workspace tab. If you look over on the left-hand navigation bar, you're going to see that Kaltura My Media is automatically there for you in your workspace. This is not a site, this is not a course site or a project site. My Workspace is the main managing area. It's the home page that you land on when you first register or when you first log into Sakai. So My Media is already there. And if you remember from that first slide that I showed you, Kaltura My Media and Kaltura Media Gallery are going to be analogous to the media space, which is through the web portal. Okay, so we've kind of taken it apart a little bit in order to be able to integrate it into Sakai. So in My Media, you'll notice this looks very familiar. This is almost identical to what we were looking at in My Media in the media space. This is the web portal, right? This is what it looks like in Sakai. Basically the same thing. I see all the videos that I've previously uploaded, created, etc., etc. I can go ahead and sort, view statuses, media I own, media I can publish, media I can edit, all that good stuff. So here's that library that I have available to me. Now, this Kaltura My Media, consider it like a library, only you can see it. Okay? If I log in with a different email or a different net ID, I would only be able to see the media that that person has uploaded. I wouldn't be able to see mine. So your Kaltura My Media is tied in directly to your net ID. Unless someone has made you a co-editor or co-publisher of a piece of media, you'll only be able to see your stuff. And this applies to students as well. When they log into Sakai, they also have a My Workspace. They'll only be able to see their media, that media to which they have rights to. Now again, if someone has made me a co-editor or co-publisher, I would be able to see that media here as well. I'm also able to add new media from here. And by adding new media, we are talking about capture space. In this case, there are fewer options because the options that I told you were Flash-based earlier, they seemed to not play well with Sakai. So we eliminated those, but you can still do the same things. You can go ahead and upload media. You can create media using the capture space tool. So again, it's going to ask me to allow the plugin. I allow the plugin, and capture space pops up on my desktop. I can also, though, just upload media. Maybe I have a piece of media on my computer, so I can go ahead and browse my computer, look for that piece of media, and upload it. The last option here, again, the video quiz I'll get to at the end if we have time. It's a little bit more complicated. It's not fully integrated into Sakai yet, so if we have time at the end, we'll touch upon that. So you can go ahead and add new media from here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a recording. I'm going to open up capture space. And maybe I'm going to just record my voice. So right now it's telling me that it's going to start recording in 1 second. It is now recording. I'm recording, perhaps there are oral instructions for an assignment or whatever it might be. When I'm done, I can go ahead and click on done. It'll go into preview mode. There it is. Now recording. I can trim, I can chop, I can decide I don't like it and cancel. I can decide I do like it and click on done. Give it a title, choose to upload. It's going to send it to both media space. In this case, I'm more interested that it sends it to Kaltura My Media, which is what lives in Sakai. So let's go ahead and see if it's now in Sakai in My Media. Nope, not there yet. There it is. So now my voice test is up here. I can add as much media as I want to through here. I don't have to go to media space ever. If I'm using Sakai, I can do everything from within Sakai that I need to do. That it's same things that I can do in media space, I can do within Sakai. So you can add the new media, you can upload media. And how do you share media? Okay, this is where it gets a little interesting. Like I said, Kaltura My Media is yours alone. You have to choose which types of media you want to share with your course site. Right now, I'm not in any course site, and I don't see Kaltura My Media over here on the left. It's because you can't add it to your workspace. But let's go ahead and go to a practice site. Now, I've already added it here in this course site. By default, it will not be added. So let's go ahead and review how to add a tool. I'm going to go to Site Info, Edit Tools, Content Sharing Tools. In this case, by default, it would look like this, where Kaltura Media Gallery and Kaltura My Media are unchecked. Now, that being said, if you want to be able to share media that you have created and uploaded in a course site, Kaltura Media Gallery has to be turned on, let's say. You don't have to turn on Kaltura My Media. It's not necessary. But then you would have to jump back and forth between my workspace, and the course site that you're currently working in. So why not go ahead and add them both right now? Click on Continue, Finish. Now both of those tools are going to be added to the bottom of my page here. So I'm going to go back to My Media. I can see the same thing that I was viewing before. If I go to Kaltura Media Gallery, I'm not going to have anything in there. I'm assuming this is a course site that I just created or that I've never used Kaltura in, so there's nothing there. I can go ahead and add media, for example. It's going to show me what's available in Kaltura My Media. So let's say I want to go ahead and add the voice test, the test video, and maybe this logo here. Those are the 3 pieces of media that I want to add. I click on the boxes of the media that I want to add. Then I come over to the right and I click on Publish. It takes me back to the media gallery, and it's telling me all media was published successfully, which means that these 3 pieces of media are now available to be shared with this course site. If I just left it like this, any of my students who logged into this site and clicked on Media Gallery would be able to see these 3 pieces of media. So we've published some media here. If I go ahead and click on it, I can see that we have the option to share like we did before. We have some comments, because comments are enabled. So again, if I just left it like this and students were able to log into my site and able to click on Media Gallery, they could look at this and go ahead and add a comment to it. And then the next person can come in and leave another comment. I have an Actions button where I can go ahead and publish it, I can edit it, and I can delete it. Let me go back. Now that I have some media in my course site, I could go ahead and share it if I want to. Now let's just say that I have a piece of media, let me go back to my media, that I want to share with multiple sites. Well, in this case, let's say it's going to be this Rutgers University seal. I'm going to click on it in my media. I'm going to head and publish. Now in this case, it's thinking, it should bring up a list of all the course sites that I am an owner of, or at least an instructor in. There it is. You can see that I have the option to make this piece of media private, in which case it's not going to be visible to anybody else, or I can go ahead and make it published. And if I want to publish it to multiple sites, let's say I want to publish it in SAT 2 Biology and AP Biology, I can go ahead and do that. Click on Save. It's also telling me by default, hey, just a heads up, you already have it published in one other gallery. This is the name of that gallery. So that's the name of the other course site that I have. I can go ahead and save. And then that piece of media will be available in the media gallery of the sites that I just gave it access to. So I'll have a message up here saying media successfully published. If for whatever reason, again, I get to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pull that piece of media down, it has misinformation or whatever it might be, so I could go to my workspace, my media. I chose this one, and this one. I can set it to private here, and what that's going to do, it's going to unpublish this entry from all media galleries. So this is a great time saver. If you have a video that you just didn't like or it didn't work for you, or like I said, doesn't have the right information, you can take it down from all the sites you published it to previously in one fell swoop by doing it through the My Workspace, Kaltura My Media. I'm going to click say OK, pull it out. I don't want anybody else to see it. So let me go back to my training site. And in my media gallery, they're not there anymore. Okay, so that's one way to manage those pieces of media. Let me go ahead and add them back. Let's do the audio, the video, and the image. Publish. There we go. So now I have 3 pieces of media added to the media gallery of this course. If I click on the Actions button in the media gallery and I click on Edit, I can go ahead and edit the details for this media gallery. So in this case, maybe I have a description for this particular course. I can add tags. I can also enable the comments or disable the comments or keep comments private in this particular course site. Okay, you can make any of those changes here. The other thing that we can do from the edit option in the media gallery is create playlists. These playlists are not the same as the playlists in MediaSpace. Okay, if you create playlists in MediaSpace, they will not be automatically carried over to the Sakai instance and vice versa. So you would have to create your playlists over again. In this case, you go to Playlists, Create New, Create Manual Playlist, which is really your only option. I'm going to go ahead and give it a title, add the media, and then all you have to do is scroll through your media and add the ones that you want. Now in this case, I only have 3. Why? Because when I was in Kaltura My Media, or in the media gallery, I only chose 3 pieces of media to be available in this course site. If I were to go back to My Media, I'd see the 15 or 20 pieces of media that I have available to me. But in this case, let's say I'm going to upload the voice test and the image, just those 2. If I go here, I can see that the voice test and the image are there. If I want to remove any of them, I can go ahead and remove them, and then click on Save. This playlist is now available to be used. Now the thing with playlists is that they have to be embedded in a page in order for people to see them, which is why you have this little embed button here. So if I click on the embed button, here's that embed code, and we saw something very similar when we were talking about MediaSpace. In this case, I have 2 options. I can choose the layout to be horizontal or vertical. From a user perspective, horizontal is a little bit easier to see visually because we do read from left to right, and so it's intuitive to read this way. With a vertical layout, your user might scroll from up to down and just not see the other video. So we're going to go ahead and copy this embed code. I can cancel out of here. If you're familiar with Sakai, you know that you can embed content in a lessons page. I'm going to go ahead to my lessons page. I'm going to add content. I'm going to embed this content on this page. And down here, it's asking me to go ahead and paste the embed code. I'll click on Save. It's going to give me a preview of what that playlist is going to look like. And I can click on Save again. And it will be embedded within the lessons page. So if you can imagine, you have, let's say, a week where you want to show 5, 10, 15 videos, rather than having each video embedded on the page, which would result in a lot of scrolling for the user, you can have a playlist like this It makes it a little bit easier to digest visually and also just to view it, because each video, if it's a video, will play here, the audio too. You can also go full screen with this. It is now recording. I'm recording, perhaps there are oral instructions for an assignment or whatever. And then it goes to the second piece of media. You can also jump back and forth between one and the other. So it is very user-friendly. All right, let's get back to the media gallery. If you click on Actions, you also have an Analytics option. The Analytics option would be more useful to show you if I had actual student activity in my page, because a dashboard will show you how many pieces of media are in the course site, and that could be instructor uploaded or student uploaded. You can see what the percentage of viewed content is, how many plays there are. You can see how many have been watched, how many have been contributed. So, for example, and we'll get to this later, if you're asking for students to submit pieces of media as an assignment or whatever it might be, you'll see how many pieces were contributed to the course. You can also see who the top engaged users are based on how much of the media they have watched. You also have, you can see who your top contributors are. So again, this would be more useful if I actually had a course going on, and you could see what that looks like. If the students have submitted media, you would be able to see it listed here. If I had actual students, you'd be able to see their the roster and as well how they engaged with the media. And as far as contribution goes, you would get a roster of all the people in the course, how many pieces of media they have contributed, what type of media have they contributed, and this is color coded over here to the right. Blue would be video, red would be image, orange would be audio, and green would be other. So you can see all of these analytics here. If I go to media, which is here, and I choose to add media, there's this little add new button down here. Okay, I can choose to create upload media or upload a video quiz, or create a video quiz rather. If I do that, automatically they will also be available in my media, which is that overall general library that I have that encompasses all the material that I have created or uploaded. So you may want to do that on the fly through here, or you can just do it through my media. Either way, it's going to be available to you. One of the really cool features about the integration in Sakai is how we can now use video in our assignments, forums, tests, and quizzes. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me go to an assignment. I'm going to add a new assignment, and I'm just going to call this a Kaltura test. And we'll make this open tomorrow, and it'll be due, sure, the 6th. That's fine. We don't have to worry about any of these things. This text box here you are probably familiar with. It appears several times in Sakai tools, whether it be here in assignments, announcements, forums, tests and quizzes, lessons. All of these tools have this editor available to you. For example, if I want to do like task 1 for this week, watch the following video. So where's the video? Before I wasn't able to include the video here, but if you notice this little button here, it looks like a multicolored sun almost. This is the Kaltura integration. If I click on this, it's going to give me access to Kaltura My Media. So it's going to give me all the different media options that I have. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. I'm going to select this one. And I'm going to come down, and I'm going to click on Post. So if I click on this assignment, there it is. So I could have my instructions up here. I can embed my video. The students would come into the assignment, they would read the instructions, they would watch the video, and then follow the instructions that I've included for them to complete their assignment. So I can do that in any of the text editors that I have available within Sakai. Forums, tests and quizzes, etc. There are a couple of caveats though, and these are things that you have to keep in mind. If you upload a video, for example, into an announcement, so announcements in Sakai, when you create an announcement, you also have the ability to send it out as an email. The video will not play in the email. The student will have to come in and view it through the announcements tool. Okay, that's one thing we haven't gotten to work quite 100% yet. If you want to try to embed the video into an assignment, like we just did, if you view it through the assignments tool, it looks fine. It plays. Slow, but it plays. If, however, and some of you may know that you can do this, you go to a lessons page. I can create a link to an assignment. If I choose the Kaltura test and use that, that's found down here, so I'm going to click on the assignment. Unfortunately, the video does not play. It shows up as a thumbnail. So what is the fix for this? It's actually quite simple. You go to the assignments. So you go to the assignments page. You click on the actual assignment. You copy the URL for the assignment. You go back into your lessons page. Add some text. And then use that URL to create a hyperlink. So now when I scroll down and I click on the complete week 1 assignment, it goes straight to the assignment and the video will load properly. And the student can go ahead and submit it without any problems. So that's one way that you can accept student submissions using Kaltura. Just like you created the assignment, let me go back and show you that. Just as you created the assignment, if you have allowed the submissions to be inline only or inline and attachments, they will see the same text editor. They will see the same Kaltura button, and they will be able to upload any media that they have created or uploaded into their Kaltura My Media space. Kaltura My Media. I don't want to get those two mixed up. So you can accept submissions through the actual assignments tool, or you can also accept submissions by allowing them to upload things into the media gallery. Okay, you would have to come in, watch their submissions, and then go ahead and grade the item manually and put that grade into the gradebook manually. But those are options that you have. One thing to note, since I just mentioned student submissions in the media gallery, when students submit to the media gallery, it is not automatically visible to everybody else. As the instructor, you have to moderate those submissions. So it will appear as pending. You have to go in, you can watch it, and then you can approve it before other students are able to see it. And that's for obvious reasons, right, folks? We don't want any inappropriate stuff being uploaded into our course sites. With the video quizzes, like I said, the caveat is you can create them in Sakai, you can embed them in Sakai. You cannot see the grades in Sakai for now. Hopefully that will be fixed soon. So I'm going to go ahead back into Sakai, and I'm going to click on a piece of media. I'm going to click on Actions, and I'm going to click the Add Quiz feature. All right, so the quiz editor pops up, and in this case I'm using just the audio clip that I created. I can go ahead and change the name of the quiz. Students will see a welcome message. By default, it will be this one. In this video, you will be given a quiz. Good luck. You can choose to allow in-video tips, which, if a student tries to skip a question or go to the next question, it will tell them that all questions must be answered and the quiz will be submitted at the end. You can also allow them to view a list of the questions that they'll see in the quiz before they start playing the media. And, that could be very useful to a student. If I like these options, I go ahead and click Apply down here. As far as user experience, you can allow them to edit their answer. You can also allow them to skip a question and then come back to it. These are all checked off by default. By default, you will be able to show your viewers the score that they got at the end. You can go ahead and choose not to show the scores, but if you show the scores, by default, their answers versus the correct answer are also displayed. Click Apply one more time, and you get to the Creating Questions portion of it. It gives you the instructions right here. Start playing the video. In this case, it's not a video. Pause where you want a question to be added. So let's see, I'm going to play this. My connection's a little slow.
It is now recording. I'm recording. Perhaps there are...
All right, so let's see, I gave some great information in those 6 seconds. I can go ahead and click on the plus sign. I didn't even put that piece of information in there, but I can go ahead and click on type the question. The correct answer goes here. So first you put the correct answer, then you go ahead and add additional answers. Why not? Great options. Okay, so these are the 4 answers that they're going to be able to choose from. Right now, for the quiz editor, as far as I know, it only allows for multiple choice questions. So I guess you could use that to do yes and no questions or true and false questions, because you can input the question and just say true or false. But right now, those are the only types of questions. You can go ahead and add a hint if you want, or ask them to explain why they answered that way. Let's just say that we don't want to do that and click on Save. I can go ahead and keep playing.
It is now recording. I'm recording. Perhaps there are oral instructions for an assignment or whatever it might be.
For some reason, it is not doing what it's supposed to do. All right, well, let me go to my media and I'll show you the one that I created previously, which I know is working. This guy right here. So if I play this one, this is the welcome screen. So they'll, they know they're going to take a quiz. Go ahead and click continue. It'll start playing the video in this case. When it gets to the certain part of the video where you inserted the question, they'll see the question. They get to choose which one is the correct answer. Then click on continue. And it's going to go through the rest of the video.
This is being recorded right now.
I'll pause it. As you can see, there are little markers here for where the questions are placed. So it'll show you that one question has been placed here, question number 2, maybe you put it further down the line, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this until it gets to the end. And then after the quiz is done, you'll see they get another message to have them either review or submit. tells me that I passed and my score is 100. Press any question to review how you perform. So if I want to see how I did in question number 1, I can go ahead and see that my answer was a star, and the correct answer was a star, and I got it. And if I had further questions, I can click on each one of those. If I'm done, click on done, and you get the thank you message. So I took my quiz. There's no way for me to get the, as an instructor, there's no way for me to get to the grades of this quiz. I would have to go into my media space, which is that web address here, ru-stream.rutgers.edu. I would have to go to my media. I'm going to actually click on the quiz. And then view the analytics of the quiz. And here's what I get. So it tells me that the average score for this quiz is a 66. I've had 21 visits. It's been played 5 times. Here's that analytic that you asked me about before, Michael. 40% drop-off just means that 40% of the people started and then didn't finish, what the average view time was. And then in this case, I have an anonymous user who scored a 50, and me, just now I took it, I scored 100. So if you had a full roster of students, they would all appear here under quiz users, and you would see what their grade is. You can go ahead and copy this grade, for example, into the grade book. So it's a pretty cool feature. It's one way to make quizzes a little bit more visually engaging, especially depending on the type of content that you have. I come from a science background, so I'm just imagining if you're talking about cell division, you can show a video about cell division and then insert questions in the video, and that could be their quiz. Or if you teach photography, for example, you can have different examples of photography in there and insert questions as you go along. So hopefully at some point the grading feature will be integrated into Sakai as well, but even now it's not really that much of a big deal to go back and forth.